Welcome to the OpenJ9 community call for June 22nd. We're just going to kick off the call today with a talk from Sophia about how to use the JDK custom target.
Hi, today I'm going to talk about how to use the JDK underscore customer target. So it's for if I'm a developer, if there's an open JDK test failing, how could I reproduce the test? We can use the JDK underscore custom target. So JDK underscore custom can run against a specific test if you want to reproduce it, or it can run the test under a specific directory. So the only thing we need to pay attention is for the JDK, OpenJDK test, be careful to use the full path of the test, because for most of the common issue is when we open the issue, we only give the test its part test parts. So pay attention to, for the JDK 8, we need to give the full path, which is the prefix is JDK-JDK/test. And for the JDK 9+, you need to put the test JDK. So now I'm going to just give a quick example using a grinder. How can we reproduce the, how can we use the JDK underscore customer target? So this is a grinder. So everything else is the same. The only thing we want to know is we want to specify for the target different from others. We need to put the JDK underscore customer. We can just copy paste. And then you can just paste your test, specific test. Like for the JDK 8, what I need to put is the JDK 8, the test full path. So it will be this one. So everything else the same. So we can just do the build. And for the JDK 9 and plus, because of modularity, the OpenJDK test structure has changed. So we have to, if you are the JDK 11, and we want to use the JDK customer, and we specify the test path with the full path. So it would be something like, I take an example for the simple one. So that's the target, the customer target. Then we can do the build. And for the JDK customer, we actually can run against a specific directory. So which means sometimes if the failing is common to a directory, so we can just run against for the whole directory. So if here, we still need to specify the JDK customer. And just specify the directory. So I put the directory, it's not the specific test case, so it will be run all the tests under that directory. So yeah, we still have to wait for the result. So that's the JDK underscore customer. It's quite simple. So the other thing I want to mention, if you want to run the JDK specific test in the local, also with that JDK underscore customer, what you need to do is just one more step is you have to export your customer target. Then you can just make underscore JDK underscore customer. Yeah, so quite simple and straightforward. So any question? If there's no question, I will just hand it over back to Toby.
Okay, thanks, Sophia.
Welcome.
All right, reminder to add your name and company affiliation to the minutes if you haven't already done so.
Oh, yes.
That was to everyone, not just you.
Okay. Sure.
Okay, so we'll take a look at the user-raised issues. I know there's one related to a Stack Overflow that I should have looked at earlier that I'll take a look at today. Is there anything else that somebody wants to raise about user-raised issues? Now we'll move on. I'll skip the download trends. Our next release, 027. I think we're pretty fixed on our content now. There are about 23 issues left in our milestone plan. Maybe a couple more changes going in. Actually, there was a Mac fix in OMR that got delivered yesterday. May have gone through the acceptance build last night, so see about getting that double delivered today. That should close one of these issues. If things are not going to be fixed in this release, please move to the next milestone so we can get this milestone list down. 028 release for Java 17. We now have a Java 17 repo created. We're not running any regular Java 17 builds in the open, although we'll continue to run an acceptance compile. We're not going to be promoting OpenJ9 staging until the openjdk method handles changes look good and the tests are passing, because we can't deal with a bunch of failures every night in the builds. So I guess that's our cue to talk about OpenJDK method handle progress. Is Jack on the call? Yeah. Jack, do you have any updates for us?
Sure. So last week we have been working with the JIT team to resolve some of the performance failures, and also I've been going through the list of the build failures that we're seeing in the extended testings. So far we've been merging, I think, 3 pull requests, and those address for the majority of the Sanity OpenJDK failures, bringing it down to only 5 remaining. Extended functional testings are similar to the OpenJDK. We brought it down from 5 to 2. And the one extended systems is in JIT, and JIT members have been looking at it. In terms of the performance mismatch that we're seeing, JIT have been working on a INL transformer, which should address the issue where we're spending the majority of the time instead of in JIT compile code, we're spending it in the interpreter INL. So hopefully the INL transformer will fix the calls to the link to methods and the invoke basic. And we should get our VM runtime in the method handle test to very minimum. And so far the progress has been that we're already seeing 3x performance improvement with some of the INL transformers in place. And the J team have been working on getting link to virtual, I think, and the invoke basic ones functional as well. And
Okay.
that's it.
Okay, thank you. So the plan is to fix the remaining test failures or to exclude?
There should be maybe a few from the OpenJD case that we want to exclude because it's not exactly testing our system. All the rest should be fixed.
Okay, thanks. AR64, does anyone have anything to say about that? No, we'll move on to our adopt update. Shelley?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't update these minutes, but just to say the tamarind builds, the nightly ones, are now on the adoptium.net website. They're being served up by the API. We are able to run TCK, automated TCKs on Xlinux, Mac. We still are waiting for Windows machines to be configured, and there's some P Linux and AIX machines being added. And we even also have been running TCKs on the Solaris build. So as machines get added to our Tamarind compliance private Jenkins server, we'll continue to plow through some of those. So it is looking like we are going to make a July date, at least for a set of the platforms. I think that's about all I was going to cover today. If people have any questions, I will note that we continue to build OpenJ9 and test it. There is a issue with the token at the TRSS server at the moment. We had one added and we're able to see the test results there, but somehow it's been lost, so we have to get that reconstituted so that we can continue to look at OpenJ9 test results and build console output at the TRSS server, since it's not available for public viewing at the Jenkins server anymore. Yeah, that's probably all that I need to say there.
So will anybody be able to see it at TRSS, or
everybody can see it at TRSS, but there is no, yep. And it was working earlier this week. It just got lost for a bit. So yeah, the notion there is there's nothing wrong with seeing console output in a public view. The reason the Jenkins jobs are locked down is because the artifacts are downloadable there. There are no artifacts to download from the TRSS server. There's just console output and visibility of that stuff. So, and as you might note on our Jenkins server, the test jobs are not locked down. So artifacts from test jobs can be downloaded. It's just the JDK itself that we have to block.
Yeah, it might limit the debugging we could do, but better than nothing, I guess.
Yeah, and then I guess maybe this isn't the forum, but I also want to find out if the preference would be for us to pull from a different API, a nightly OpenJ9 build for testing rather than build it ourselves. It's something we can definitely talk about doing. For me, the purpose of continuing to test OpenJ9 as part of the Aquavit program is that it helps us have other things to look at and compare, and helps us build better tools and better tests. So we'll continue to do it no matter where we pull the things from. It's just if there's a discussion to be had about what's preferential, what would be more useful for everybody.
Yeah, I think pulling from public available builds will be better, but
yeah,
that API is not available yet, so
yeah,
we'll keep you updated.
That's right. When it becomes available, let's have the conversation about switching over. Yep, good.
Okay, thanks. Adam, do you have updates on machines?
I was just going to say, if you do pull from the new API, then that'll at least be a user that can tell us when it goes down.
Yes, that's right. Do you want me to automate that? Oh, good.
You want my personal email?
Yeah, your phone number.
Send a text. Not too much to report. Artifactory's okay at the moment. We did get the new AR64 machine, so it's on Raj's queue to set it up. Hopefully this iteration next couple weeks. There's a little bit of work left to do to move the VPN around for the UNB machines for the new Jenkins. So that's still needs to be done. Just needs a little bit of coordinated downtime, but not a huge deal. So it's not a huge priority either. And there is a Jenkins upgrade pending with some plugin updates, so I should do that at some point as well. So we'll need say an hour downtime for that, so I can coordinate with Pete for that. And I was starting to try and get RISC-V pipelines going. I haven't got to the point of compile yet, so I'm still debugging other infrastructure issues with that. So hopefully we can have those going soon. So that'll be a cross compile, and then testing, I believe, would happen in an emulated environment. So that'll be a second step, a second phase to that work.
Yeah, my understanding is the testing is extremely slow.
Yeah, I know Omar does their testing in the emulated environment on a Debian 10X machine, but I don't know. Obviously, their test is a lot lighter than what ours would be, so we'd have to try it.
Yeah, so if we wanted to do that, maybe we need another really lightweight test suite.
Yeah, like Java Dash version.
Maybe a little bit more than that, but not as much as Sanity Functional.
Yeah. Okay, so we can cross that bridge when we get to it. That's about it for me, unless there's questions.
So I don't see Devin on the call. I know I merged some stuff related to ZOS and maybe some cross compile CMake changes as well, but I don't know if everything's in so that we can enable ZOS to get that enabled soon.
I believe he said that ZOS was ready. We just have to switch the defaults in the configure scripts.
Do you know if he's going to open a PR for that?
I can check with him.
Okay, that'd be great. We could try that out. Marius, anything on JIT server?
So last week we cleaned up 2 more bugs, but we still have some failures in system tests, and we are working on those. There is also a known issue with OpenSSL encryption that we are working to fix. And the last piece of news is that we performed experiments in OpenShift on Amazon AWS. And next week we could have a presentation for the lightning talk, if you want to.
Yeah, that sounds good. Do you have a title or something we can add to the minutes?
I didn't think of a title.
All right. Well,
yeah.
Just
Git
add it
server
in when you.
Yeah, Git server performance in OpenShift on Amazon AWS.
Okay. June. Let's see. 9 JIT server performance. I missed the rest.
Sorry?
What came after JIT server?
Git server performance in OpenShift on AWS.
Okay, thanks. What a name. So what's next? MicroJIT. I wasn't sure about the next meeting.
We had our meeting last Thursday. Oh, was I? Now I'm confused. Let me check my calendar if there is anything on this. No, there isn't.
The 17th.
Yeah. So this week will not have next week.
So next week is July 1st, which is Canada Day.
Yeah. Now I remember. We decided that we are going to postpone that. So it's on 15th, July 15th, the next one.
Yeah, makes sense. That's what I was guessing. Okay, snapshot and restore. I guess that's Toby.
Yeah, so we've been making progress getting some CRU APIs enabled in the JDK. On the other side of things, we've been doing some experiments with Docker, just making sure that we can snapshot restore in a Docker container using these APIs, and make sure things like file handles, standard error, standard out work properly. on the restore side of things. We've also been coordinating with Liberty. They've been adding some options to the Liberty startup scripts to basically enable this new mode of running Liberty. We'll need to run it in a special mode because the launcher itself is going to need to be aware that when you're creating a checkpoint, it's going to exit, and when you are restoring a checkpoint, it's going to have to run the CRU CLI command instead of the JVM command. So there's a bit of work on that side. There's still some issues regarding how to reflect environment variables on the restore side. So we still need to investigate other avenues of acquiring that information. And yeah, that's about it for now.
Okay, thanks. Jack, anything on Project Bloom?
Not really. I think Toby mentioned Project Loom is moved out of 17, so we're like deferring that.
Okay, thanks. Panama, Cheng on? Yep.
Yep. Can you hear me, Peter?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay. Last week, I think already fixed all the communication issues with the libafri libraries, and still, so everything's working, and we're just waiting for the Eclipse CQ to be approved before merging the code. In terms of structure work, I believe I will go through all the code and double check it on all the platforms, x6, Linux, Windows, and Arc 64. Everything was good, so I believe there should be no code change out there, but we still hold off for review before the OpenJT master handler and let FFIP merged. Before do that, we still hold on with that. I'll get start work on phase 4 to support on RPC and S390X. So that's about it.
Okay, I'll see if I can poke the CQ again. It seems there's been not much progress. I did poke the PM and got a +1, but there's been
Okay.
nothing from the review team.
Okay, cool.
And then the last thing is the spell check tool. So we didn't merge the original change. It seemed like it was going to take 40 minutes and it was going to scan everything every time. But now there's a new change in the works where it's just going to scan the changes that are being checked in, so that'll be a lot faster. So maybe later this week or next week we'll be able to have that going. And any other business? Does anyone have anything else to bring up? Otherwise, thanks everyone, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you.
Thanks, bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.